Russian President Vladimir Putin is expected to arrive in New Delhi shortly for his two-day state visit. The trip would be the Russian president's first since Ukraine war in 2022. Russian Defense Minister has already arrived in the national capital. The Indian Defense Minister Rajnath Singh and his Russian counterpart Andrei Belousov laid a wreath at the National War Memorial. The Russian Defense Minister co-chaired the 22nd India-Russia Intergovernmental Commission on Military and Military Technical Cooperation ministerial meeting with Rajnath Singh.
Minister, our bilateral relations have a strategic character, and the partnership with India is a key factor for the balance in South Asian region and the global security in general.
Just ahead of his visit to India, the Russian president said Moscow proposed to Kyiv to pull back its troops from Donbass, but Ukraine chose war. Now, the Russian president says it has become impossible to not recognize Donbass as a part of Russia. Putin and Prime Minister Narendra Modi are expected to discuss a range of issues during the visit, with focus on geopolitics and potential defense deals, including fighter jets and a missile defense system. This visit comes in the backdrop of U.S. President Donald Trump pressuring India to scale back energy and economic ties with Moscow. In his interview, Putin also highlighted India's progress since it gained independence 77 years ago. He also underscored the multifaceted development of Russia-India relations, adding that the ties between the two nations extends beyond diplomacy. Apart from bilateral ties, President Putin and Prime Minister Modi would also discuss about strengthening cooperation in various multinational platforms. India and Russia are part of several platforms, including the trilateral RIC. They are core members of the BRICS and founding members of the SCO. The visit could also be an opportunity to revive the old Russia, India and China RIC forum. Originally envisioned to counter West's dominance, the group has become more relevant in view of recent American protectionist measures, including renewed tariffs and trade restrictions. RIC activities came to a halt in 2020. The outbreak of the COVID-19 pandemic globally disrupted diplomatic schedules and international gatherings. This was quickly followed by the India-China military standoff in eastern Ladakh, culminating in the Galwan Valley clashes, which marked the most serious border conflict between the two nations in decades. The most recent wave of interest in reviving the RIC has been led by Moscow and Beijing. Russia asserts that it is in active dialogue with both New Delhi and Beijing on the matter. China says that it stands ready to maintain communication on advancing the trilateral cooperation. New Delhi remains non-committal about any immediate revival of the trilateral grouping. At the heart of India's cautious approach lies its uneasy relationship with China. The talks of the group's revival had gained momentum during the Shanghai Cooperation Organization Summit in China's Tianjin in August. At the summit, the warmth between the Prime Minister of India, the President of Russia, and the host Chinese president was quite evident. India's relationship with China has improved since 2020, while China and Russia have grown closer during the Ukraine war. Let's talk to our assistant editor for Foreign Affairs, Siddhant Sabol. He's now joining us live on this broadcast. Siddhant, I am aware that you are waiting for the Russian president to jet in to New Delhi. What are the preparations or the final preparations installed for the president?
Well, Eric, in approximately 30 minutes from now, the Russian president is going to land here in the Indian national capital, which is decked up with heavy security and, of course, a lot of Russian flags to welcome the Russian president. It's after years that the Russian president is coming to India We know that he's coming for the annual summit where focus will be on several things, whether it is the ballooning trade deficit, which has been a key worry for India. India is pushing that the Russian side should import more, especially in the agriculture domain, or whether it is in the mobility front. Expects pact to be announced in areas like agriculture, shipping, transport, but above all, the visit will be closely watched globally. In 30 minutes, when the Russian president lands, and it is highly likely that the Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi might receive him at the airport, breaking the protocol. The handshakes will be watched in Europe and in US. For Russia, this is a major diplomatic coup, given the fact that Russia is facing the Western sanctions. For Russian President Vladimir Putin to be in the largest democracy on the planet and also a major country of the global south, being welcomed like this will be something that will be watched in the West. But for India, the message is clear that India-Russia relationship is here to stay, and its strategic autonomy is very important at a time when Donald Trump's tariffs are putting economic concerns for India, and also Donald Trump and of course America is seen as an unreliable partner whose policies can change overnight.
All right, that is our assistant editor for foreign affairs, Sidhan Simbol. He's in New Delhi. He's waiting for the Russian President Vladimir Putin to jet in any moment from now. Sidhan, we'll have to leave it there. Thank you very much. Joining us live from Moscow, Russia, is Fred Weir. He's a journalist and also political commentator. Mr. Weir, thank you very much for making time for us. India has been accused of oil purchases, even as Europe and the West have been trading with Russia on energy requirements post the Ukraine war. Will it make a difference when the Russian president jets into India and they have a bilateral trade with the Prime Minister of India?
Well, first of all, I think we have to note that this is a time of really great geopolitical challenge. That all of the elements of global order that we've gotten used to are shifting fast. And Putin is coming at a time when he's pretty sure that his war in Ukraine is coming to an end. The peace talks are going on and really showing progress. And if they don't, the Russian battlefield momentum is picking up. So one of the things Putin is got in his mind is the shape of the global order after this war. And the Russians have pretty much given up on their previous ideas of integrating economically, politically, with Europe in particular. Though the relationship with the United States is showing promise. I think Putin is looking to put the Indian-Russian relationship front and center. In the years coming forward, he wants to put it on a new level. It's an old, reliable relationship, but it lacks economic depth. This is what you're talking about. The trade did explode during the war years, but mainly because of Russian oil exports, leading to a serious imbalance of trade. I think that Putin.
Let's talk about that trade, Mr. Weir.
Yeah.
Let's talk about that trade because trade tariffs, sanctions have multiplied for Russia post-Ukraine war. How do you see Putin's visit to India at the back of all these measures by the West?
Well, that's it. I think that Russia has decided that this is not a temporary situation, but the rift between Russia and the West, particularly Europe, is permanent. Therefore, it's putting its stakes on new partners. The global South, countries like India, will become much more important than they were in the past. And that's saying a lot because the relationship with India was always very important to Russia. So I think that he is bringing a lot of ideas, concrete proposals for addressing that trade deficit, for example, bringing the Russian payment system into India, easing the immigration requirements for Indian workers and business investors who want to come to Russia. I think there's a whole number of things which are not simply good, interesting economic proposals, but they are aimed at raising that relationship to a new level and giving it depth it didn't have before.
Mr. Fred Weir, it's good to see you. We are still waiting for the Russian president to jet in to India, but thank you for talking to us today.
Thank you.